How do I help my child succeed in school? This is such a big question and it's so important. Hi, I'm Christy. I'm a wife, a mom of 8, a homeschooling veteran for 24 years, and welcome to 10 at the Table. It's a place where we talk about all things motherhood, parenthood, education, and lifelong learning. So, this question, how do I help my child succeed in their education, is at the core of it very simple, but let's dive in. My simple answer is be involved. No matter what your child's education looks like, whether they're in public school, whether they're in private school, whether you're homeschooling, whether you're in some kind of co-op situation, or whatever it looks like, be involved on a daily basis. Touch base with your child's teacher. Make sure you are a presence in their classroom when they're younger, and make sure that you are in communication with their teachers when they're older. Middle school, high school, it doesn't matter. There's nothing that is off limits when it comes to your kids' education. You should be involved in every part of it. And I think we have to get back to the premise that parents are the primary educators of their children. If we start from that premise, then there's nothing that is off limits for parents to be involved in when it comes to their kids and their education. So be involved. If you're not the primary educator of their academic education, if they're in a public school or private school setting, you still have an obligation to your child to be involved every single day. So you may not be involved to the point where you are talking to teachers every day, but you dang well better be involved when they get home at night and be checking their backpacks and be checking for what homework they have and be asking them what they learned that day, what their parents are, or what their teachers are teaching, and be an active participant in their education every single day. Make sure that you have reading as something that you do as a family or a one-on-one with your kids at night. It's a great way to put them down to bed. Start a book with them. Start a chapter book and read to them. They don't always have to read to you, but have it be a way that you can connect with your kids every single day and have it become kind of a tradition that it's just how we go to bed. Mom sits in the room, or when the kids were littler, we've kind of gotten away from it. We still do it on occasion, but we started a chapter book, and I would go into one of their rooms. All of the kids would come in and crash, and I would read from the chapter books to them. And we went through a series of books where we were really good at it during Christmas time. It was part of an Advent tradition that we started, so that we started some Christmas books or Christmas stories, and we would read every night, or we would try to. Sometimes it ended up we did it in the morning before we started school, but most of the time it was an evening activity, and the kids and I would go hole up in one bedroom, and everybody would come crash in there, and we would read a chapter or two. Oftentimes it was multiple chapters because they didn't want me to stop. So if your kid is if your child is struggling with reading themselves, then have them read to you. I think that's a really important way to get them over that hump of struggling as a reader, and it gives them the confidence that they need to hear themselves speaking out loud, reading out loud, and it helps in a number of ways with their education and their growth. So that, I would say, is the primary thing that you can do to be sure that your kid is getting everything that they need, is to just simply be involved every single day. So Other than that, I would say really be conscious of where your child's strengths and weaknesses are. If you're watching this and you don't know what your kid's good at or what they're not good at, then you need to tune in. You need to be more intentional, and you need to not rely so much on their teachers and the school district that they're in to be providing that education for your child. You should know. You should know what they're having problems in, and you should know if they're on track or not. We have 8th graders who cannot read at a 5th grade level, and they are going into high school. They are going to be in trouble. They're going to struggle for that entire 4 years of high school if they do not have a good reading level, reading comprehension, and then that translates into how do they write? How do they write well if they can't read well? So it's our jobs as parents to make sure that they are getting everything that they need to be successful. We do not want to send kids out into the school not being able to read or write. Everything else, I feel like, can be made up in a reasonable amount of time. If they're behind or they're struggling, they take some real concentrated time, they can catch up on stuff. But if they cannot read and they cannot write, they are going to struggle for the rest of their lives. The chances of them being in any kind of profession or career where they do not have to read and write at some level and have some kind of comprehension of written instruction, it's going to be really challenging for them, and they're going to be really frustrated. So you're doing your child a disservice by not being on top of where they are academically and really being aware and getting them the help they need if they're struggling and they're behind. So that's my answer. Be involved. Know what's going on with your child. Know where they're at academically, and get them the help they need if they're not on track and where they need to be. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow.